You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Folks, Richard Collins was a young man who was graduated from Bowie. He was set to graduate from Bowie State. He was at a bus stop. He was waiting to catch a bus when a white man came up to him, accosted him, and then he killed him. This took place in 2017. Richard Collins was on his way to being commissioned into the Army. But because he was not actually in the Army, his family was not able to, he was not able to receive military burial, as well as the family to receive his death benefits. Well, lots of pressure. They were on this show. They began to really petition members of Congress. And so what they have done, they've included a provision in the National Defense Authorization Act that will allow families like the Collins family to actually receive military death benefits. Again, he was just days away from graduating and going into the Army. The Collins family, again, believed that they should have received the recognition and those benefits if he had been on active duty, but they went through all sort of stuff. Now, the National Defense Authorization Act will ensure that an ROTC graduate who dies between commissioning and their first assignment is treated as having served in the military for the purpose of death benefits. Joining me right now is our panel, of course. Dr. Greg Card, Chair, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University. Reese Colbert, Black Women's Views, and Erica Savage Wilson, host Savage Politics Podcast. Erica, I want to start with you. You served in the military. I mean, this was an important deal here. This was, I mean, this family was hurt. This family was really torn apart by the fact that he could not receive a military funeral and did not get those benefits. And they were really petitioning members of Congress to actually make a change to the law to ensure that this doesn't affect another family member.
Yes, absolutely. And just want to extend my condolences to the Collins family and glad that they did several years, like 2 years later, get some measure of justice. I was actually also, when I was in the Air Force, I was actually a part of the Honor Guard, which is a wing of, is a specific duty where we actually participate in the funeral rites of family members. And I cannot tell you the countless family members that I have folded flags and got on one knee and given the flag to that family member. The extraordinary pain, no matter what the age of that veteran or person who was maybe even serving active duty is. And so to have to then fight the military, which I've talked about time and again, which is very much so shrouded around the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ, and then understanding the federal courts and looking at the circuit courts. There's a wing of that does deal with the appeals of military veterans claims and then also of armed services. And so to know that not only this family had to go through the ordeal of having to bury their son who was in ROTC, which they do have to keep comport themselves as a military member for those 4 years. So they are actually active duty members, though they go through the actual commission service on the day that they graduate. So to know that this family had to not only grieve the death of their son, but then after that circuit court judge kicked down the case that was presented before the state's attorney, Aisha Braveboy, and that then they had to go through that arduous fight to be able to get those benefits, what they should have gotten immediately after their son passed away, so that they could go through the grieving process without all of these extra judicial additives, just really speaks to why we actually just really need to pay attention to the courts as well. But I'm really glad for this family that though it took a while and now they have this extended fight that they're going to be involved in, I'm really glad that this family did, in fact, get justice for their late son.
Greg, this is one of the things that people don't necessarily think about. And again, and it's one of those loopholes this family had to endure with their son being killed by this white man as he waited for a bus.
Oh, absolutely. And we know, and again, I echo what Erica said, continued sympathy for the Collins family. We know that no amount of money could bring a loved one back. You know, we talk about justice for these victims of state violence or private violence. we know that saying justice for them is kind of like that we have to have a better phrase than that, because you can't restore someone to life. That haven't been said. Whether it be Congress, Congressman Brown introducing that resolution, saying that it was a hate crime, as Erica said, regardless of what the judge says and it said in Maryland, or whether it be the students at the University of Maryland and Bowie criticizing the head of University of Maryland for missing some of the rituals of remembrance for Collins, or whether finally it be now these benefits that can be now used, if possibly to even contribute to the Collins Foundation. The work of the family and supporters to put together resources to support HBCU students who are in ROTC. We know that this is a small measure of cold justice, but often it is the insult that is added to the injury that just exacerbates the fact that at its core, this country has to face the fact that our people are still at risk, even when you wear the uniform.
Now, Reese, so far, again, the Collins family, they have not received it. It was passed last year, but what's happening, and so what's going to happen is, this is the story that was here in the Capitol Gazette. Congress has said that after passing legislation last year following a Bowie State's student's murder to ensure, go to my iPad, please, to ensure ROTC graduates who died between commissioning and their first assignment receive military death benefits, this year lawmakers expect to have it apply to the case that brought the matter to attention. Congressmen and senators who secured the provision in the National Defense Authorization Act expect that it will pass when the session returns later this month. And so, again, this was all driven by the Collins family. And, and for the people out there who say, well, you know what, I don't know what these politicians do or these Congressional Black Caucus members do. This is an example of something that actually happened because this family reached out to members of the CBC. They reached out to veterans organizations like IAVA, who also used their power to push members of Congress to make this possible.
Roland, you took the words right out of my mouth. I definitely have to salute Congressman Anthony Brown, who really spearheaded this through in the Congress. And you're exactly right. This is why representation matters, because you then have somebody like Congressman Brown who will champion this issue, such a tragic issue. I echo what Dr. Carr and what Erica said in extending my condolences to the Collins family. And I especially echo what Dr. Carr said in terms of adding the insult to injury. The fact that they're not going to get justice in the very loose sense of the word, in terms of it being acknowledged as a hate crime by the judicial system, even though the man was convicted of murder, it's even more insulting that he was just days away from getting those to being a commissioned officer when he was just brutally and tragically murdered. And so this starts to somewhat right the wrong. You cannot obviously bring Collins back. You can't bring that much consolation to the Collins family. But should this unfortunate tragic event ever happen again, that the next family won't have to be subjected to this kind of trauma over and over again. And
again, it passed last year, but they applied to future families, which is why they had to go back and actually get it applied to the Richard Collins case. And so, again, that's exactly why that has been done. All right, folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, Ceek is a Black-owned company founded by Mary Spiel, a sister from Ghana. She is, of course, the inventor of these two devices here. One of them is a virtual reality headset, which basically allows for you to pop your phone, your Android or your Apple phone, right into here, and allows you to see the content on their website, Ceek.com, in virtual reality. You also can look at other videos on YouTube that are 360-degree videos. And so this headset is available on the website. Also, their headphones, these 360-degree 4D headphones right here, which also comes with the wired cable, also microphone jack as well. You got Bluetooth. You can use this for gaming if you want to, music, videos, you name it. Fantastic sound as well. A sister, she sent me a tweet. She said, why didn't I tell her about the bass in these headphones? Because she said that she has a bass head in her house. And so her son decided to grab her headphones. I said, no, boo, tell your son to go buy his own. If you want to get these products, again, supporting Black-owned businesses that support this show, go to Ceek.com. Use this promo code RM. You see it right here, RMVIP 2020, RMVIP 2020. And so when you buy their products, you also are supporting Roland Martin Unfiltered. So we certainly appreciate that. With the folks at Ceek.com, Ceek.com.